Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome once again to another live stream. I'm very pleased to have with me in the Bluebell studio, Madame Justine Blanchard. Justine is a body confidence buddy. She prescribes something which is a whole mesh of holistic approaches to body support, body confidence, and body wellness. And today we're talking about one that is, I would say, the one that's getting her most excited at the moment, which is Reiki. And she taught me the other week a little bit more about what it is. And I'm asking today, it's all very well knowing it's some sort of energetic manipulation thingy. What I want to know is examples of how it can actually help someone, and perhaps telling a couple of stories of how it's worked for clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, as you know, everything about body confidence wellness and what I do is all about the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, the soul body. So Reiki as a modality, I suppose, fits into the pillar of soul body, but Reiki as a modality does support not only the soul body, but also the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body. So it really is very all encompassing. And what we talked about last time we talked about Reiki was how Reiki really is a universal energy that is accessible by me. It's accessible by you. It's accessible by absolutely anybody. And it's very, very intentional based. So some examples of how it works is really just like any kind of intention you can think of is how it works. So for example, we could set the intention of emotional release for your highest good. We could set the intention of release of physical pain in a particular area for your highest good. We can set the intention of, being open to accept abundance for your highest good, to be magnetic, to release, to accept, to, and any kind of thing of intentional based really is how Reiki works and how we can call in Reiki for ourselves using a channel as a practitioner or a facilitator like me.
So is it something that anybody can do? Is it something that people have to be born with? What is it?
Well, anything is any skill or gift or learned activity or modality, anything like that is it's like a muscle. It works best with practice. So whether or not I was born with it, I couldn't tell you. I mean, I certainly went to a whole lot of workshops and lessons, and I've been attuned and I've learned particular methods and particular ways of accessing the universal energy, which makes me become the channel for it. I think, yes, we all have the capacity, the capabilities to access that energy. And, a lot of it, I think, is about, people are very skeptical. People create their own energetic blocks, so I mean, I think everybody is capable of giving or receiving or learning how to give or receive. But not everybody understands it. Not everybody accepts it. Not everybody believes that it's real. And I was having a conversation with somebody earlier today about how is it possible to access Reiki distance, by either online or
That is a question that was actually, I've got that question written down. Go on.
Yeah. And that is very much because it's intentional based. And the example that I gave in this conversation was about how when I do a distance Reiki session, we set the intention together with the client. And, I kind of go into a little bit of a guided visualization. I go quiet for a little while I'm channeling in the Reiki, and then I kind of guide the person back out of the visualization. And in this conversation, I was giving that example and saying, and the person shared and said, when we walked outside and we went to the river and I experienced this, and my mom was next to me, my dad was next to me, who are both deceased. And this person said to me, well, is that the meditation or is that Reiki? I mean, how could you prove that it was the Reiki that they experienced there and not just going into a lovely guided visualization? And my answer was like, does it really matter? You know, because
It's an interesting philosophical point. What you're postulating is because good has been done, in a way, does it matter from whence it came?
yeah, you know, if that person hung up the phone thinking, oh, I don't know if it was Reiki that did it, or if it was going into a really lovely deep meditation that did it, or if that person thought, oh, it was nice that I went into a guided visualization and I accepted Reiki at the time. Either way, by setting their own intention, by allowing for the Reiki to be channeled through me and they accepted it with their intention, does it matter if they felt better because they had like half an hour of guided visualization and a bit of me time? Or does it matter if it was actually Reiki? Like, you know, that person felt better after. And in this example, the person who asked for the Reiki, she had experienced a lot of loss, particularly the mother and father who were with her in this visualization.
Right.
And she'd experienced both of these losses. They were quite traumatic. She had a lot of things to do around these losses, and she wasn't sleeping very well. And one of the reasons she wasn't sleeping very well is because she started grinding her teeth in her sleep and experiencing a lot of, pain through her jaw, through her neck, and experiencing a lot of headaches, tension headaches because of this, jaw ache in her sleep. And after 2 sessions, she told me that she was sleeping better. She wasn't getting headaches anymore, and she was no longer having that jaw pain. Now, she herself recognized when she said to me, I want the Reiki, because she said, I've gone through a lot of trauma. I've gone through a lot of loss. I'm grinding my teeth because of it. So she knew the physiological reasons that she was grinding her teeth is because of the tension she was under. And after a couple of sessions on the phone, she no longer had this pain and this tension. So whether she sorted it out herself by wanting it bad enough, or whether I channeled the Reiki in for her and gave her a couple of lovely visualizations, does it matter?
Probably not, actually. I mean, in the final analysis, by the way, Heather has just sent you a bunch of thumbs up things. So there you go. So you know she's a fan. So look, in this is kind of weird. The ends almost justify the belief by virtue of the fact that good has been done. Do we need to assign it to a particular thing? Was it the whole process of?
Yeah, I mean, everything. You know, I mean, ultimately, I've had my training, I've had my attunement. I'm actually further training at the moment. I am going to be teaching soon. I don't have dates yet.
That's level 2. Is that Reiki 2? They call that.
I will be teaching 1 and 2. Where am I?
Yes.
Oh, so in Usai Reiki, I've 1, 2, and 3, so master level. In Angelic Reiki, 1 and 2. And I also have a holy fire attunement. So I've done a lot of training. I've done a lot of learning. I've done a lot of attunements. I have a lot of manuals, and I am continuing that training and education to the point where I will be teaching at least level 1.
Different types of Reiki. Are they functionally different? Do you do different things in them?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Angelic Reiki supports the belief that that the angels are doing most of the work, if you will. And in that kind of modality and in that kind of training and attunement in that way is, although I am physically present either in person or online with the person, I'm basically accessing the channel through the angels, and basically angels asking angels to do the work. Whereas with the Usai Reiki, there's a little bit more for me to do, if you will. So
you're outsourcing it to the angels, or you're insourcing it to yourself, sort of thing.
Sort of. Yeah. And then there's two schools of thought here. So, Heather probably has a view on this too. There's two schools of thought. Some people say, keep your modalities separate. Some people say it's cool to mix the modalities. Some people believe, so maybe even a third school of thought, some people believe that, once you've got various different modalities and you've been attuned to different modalities, it's near on impossible to actually separate them. So whether you want to or not, you're going to be mixing them during the session anyway. So, there's different views and opinions on, how things should be done. Energy, it's all energy. And it all, I come back to my first question. Does it matter? If it works, does it matter?
No, well, look, a pedant might say, look, well, I paid for this. I want to make sure I'm getting that and not something else. But in a way, I suppose the response would be, you're not paying for that. You're paying for the results of that.
Yes.
And as long as you're following the principles of do no harm, the old Hippocratic oath and all that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. As long as you're following that, then it doesn't matter, because your approach is to achieve that goal. So you've had, obviously, worked through experiences whereby a person has come to you with some sort of issue and have left, maybe after one or more sessions, with either an attitudinal change, whether an inferred physical change, lower stress levels or whatever, or maybe an ability to do something which before was blocked.
Yeah. So actually, you've just kind of sparked an example when you said that. Is I worked with somebody who was running a retreat. This was a year or so ago, maybe a year and a half ago. She was running a retreat. Tickets weren't selling straight away, and she was feeling really frustrated. And she was starting to feel that maybe her energy was actually blocking the sales of the retreat. Maybe she was starting to put out the energy and the vibes of, oh, this is rubbish, nobody's going to come, and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And that's what when we had our Reiki session, the intention that she set for herself was, I set the intention of lifting my financial blocks.
Right.
And I'm not going to say that the Reiki then filled up her retreat, but I will say that months later, her retreat still went ahead and it was full. So whether it was the Reiki lifting that block, or whether it was her thinking that her block was then lifted because we had a Reiki session, again, does it matter? I can't claim to say that the Reiki is going to do that it's going to heal, or that it's going to lift a block, or it's going to do that. All I can say is, when I work with somebody, I ask them to set their intention. I focus solely on the intention that they set for themselves, right, calling in the Reiki energy to amplify, intensify, and this conversation in itself might spark a huge a debate within these spiritual world, or the skeptical world, or and there might be
I'm a skeptic. But it's all about getting more information, isn't it? That's for me. Look, I'm gonna wind today's chat up. I'm gonna say it's non-invasive.
Totally.
I've had Reiki performed on me by a number of different people. If you set your mindset, which I believe you call setting intentions, if you set your mindset to that, over the next period of time, I will have an enjoyable time, I will be relaxed, and you've got this person performing the Reiki, you can come out of it, as I did, feeling very relaxed, and that you've just had a very pleasant time. So at its most facile, at its most skin deep, I would say you will get a relaxing, enjoyable time out of it if you tell yourself you were going to. If you go into it saying nothing's going to work for me, I'm not helpable, then possibly that will be the response you get. Justine, thank you so much for spending the time with me as ever. I've been Gareth Wax. She's been Justine Blanchard. We meet fairly periodically to talk about body confidence wellness. We've been spending today talking about the efficacy of Reiki, and not so much focusing on the nitty gritty, but its practical applications and its benefits. Justine, it's been brilliant, and we look forward to more of them in the future. Until the next time I speak to any of you, I wish you a successful week and, of course, a great mental health. Bye-bye now.